for family movie night, I'm picking something kind of untraditional, and it's not really for little kids, although it's not inappropriate. I just needed something different, so indulge me on this one. I've watched 15 Batman and Superman movies in the last month-ish, and I just had overload. I needed something different, and so today I am talking about the other end of the spectrum, and we're talking about 2005's Pride and Prejudice. And I really liked Jane Austen when I was in high school, so maybe you can get your teenage kids to watch this with you. Teenage girls. Who knows? I'm just going to talk about it anyway. So 2005's Pride and Prejudice is a really, really interesting film because it took a lot of risks, but I think it paid off. It's sort of like the Sherlock show. It took a lot of risks, tried a lot of different things, but it's all done so well and with such good performances that I think it pays off. In 2005's Pride and Prejudice is directed by Joe Wright and stars Keira Knightley as, of course, Lizzie Bennet. And Lizzie is the second daughter of a gentry family in England, and they live in relative ease, but the problem is since there are only girls, the estate is going to be curtailed to a distant relative, and so their financial situation is not as strong as it otherwise should have been. So it is very important that each of these girls marry well, so that they can survive, so that they can live. They do not have any financial security to support the girls in any other way. So this is the prime objective of Mrs. Bennet, the girl's mother. And she even says that at one point. When you have 5 daughters, tell me what you will be worrying about. It's interesting because Keira Knightley is the star of this film. She's really the only big name in the film. It takes a slightly different approach than other versions of Pride and Prejudice. Now, obviously, Pride and Prejudice is told from Lizzie's perspective. She's the second daughter. She has this beautiful sister, and she has these silly younger sisters. And she meets Darcy, she meets Bingley, and there's all of this back and forth. But I don't think in any other version of Pride and Prejudice that I've seen has the focus of the conflict and the change been as much on Lizzie as it is in this film. It's always a feeling, I think, in Pride and Prejudice that Darcy is the one that needs to change the most. He is, of course, the one that is prideful in the story. He's the one that is judgmental, and he has all of these feelings about Lizzie's family and about the country and about everything else that he holds, and he is very willing to display, and so it turns off. Lizzie becomes prejudiced against Darcy and other people. She forms these opinions right away, and then she's not willing to let go or grow in those opinions at all. And the interesting thing about this version of the film is that because Knightley is the star, the focus more is on Lizzie changing and Lizzie's world becoming bigger. And in this, Darcy really isn't that prideful. He's more kind of shy, played by Matthew McFadden. He's more just kind of awkward and doesn't really know what to say, and is just sort of quiet. It's just different version, whereas Lizzie is the character of Lizzie, where she just makes these judgments, and it can come off at certain scenes as being a little bit harsh, a little bit like, wow, what has this guy done to deserve all of this? Whereas in every other version I've ever seen, you're like, wow, Darcy's such a jerk, I hate this guy. And you totally feel validated in her refusing him in the climactic, of course, in the big proposal scene. And so some people don't like that take on the story, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting, and I think it's pulled off by the really, really good performances of all of the actors involved, including, of course, Keira Knightley, who was nominated for an Oscar for this performance. And I think you do see her grow enough, and I do think that you see the chemistry between the two of them right away, which is definitely key in making any period piece work. Otherwise, it just feels flat and boring. Benefit in this film from Joe Wright's artistic touch that he brings to film, the sort of swirliness of a lot of the shots, the beautiful colors, the beautiful, the costumes, of course, are beautiful. You have amazing cinematography from Roman Osen is his name, and it just feels warm and earthy and gritty in a certain way. You see dirt on their dresses. You see that they actually would own farm animals, things like that. It's not proud and stoic and that you typically see in a period piece. And I found that refreshing. I liked that. He also uses a lot of imagery to kind of show the change of Lizzie. He uses Roman statues at a certain point to show her kind of transitioning and becoming smoother and kind of and her growth. And you get a lot of time focused in certain shots on just sort of her and kind of what her mind is going through at different times. And so I like that. I thought it was really good. I think where the movie suffers a little bit is I think that it could have honestly been probably 20 minutes longer. They definitely decided to temper everything in the film. Like the mother, Mrs. Bennet, is not that crazy. Mr. Bennet is just kind of lazy, but not the same. Tom Hollander as Mr. Collins isn't that funny. It's more subdued, a little bit creepy even, I would say, in this version. Mr. Wickham is definitely, you needed more time with him. Their time together is very, very brief, and so it doesn't feel as much of a villain as he should feel, I think, to really make the tension work between Lizzie and her prejudice. Again, it kind of makes her feel like, why is she so devoted to this person that she's hardly spent any time with and that we don't really know? Like, why is she that prejudiced against Darcy because of just these flighting scenes? So I feel like that could have been done better. And I don't know, I just feel like a number of different scenes could have been fleshed out a little bit more, a little bit of characters. And that's rare that I say I think a movie could have been longer, but it really, I feel like could have been 20 minutes longer, and it just would have felt a little bit better as far as characters. But Joe Wright has never been the greatest as far as characters. He's more about visuals, and I do think, at least I think the character of Lizzie is effectively done in this sort of new, different way, and you really see her growth as a character. So some of the other side characters I think could be better. And I do think they have really good chemistry, and I really do like the light and the prettiness of everything that Joe Wright does. So I really enjoy it. I think it's a cool little movie. Let me know what you think. Do you like this version of Pride and Prejudice? Or I love, I love the Colin Firth one, but I'm not always up for a 4 or 5 hour movie, however long that is. So this is a really good second option. And so let me know what you think. Put in the comment section below. And what's your favorite Jane Austen movie? And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!